It's been 87 years since President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed the Social Security Act into law. Now, this act includes things like retirement, disability, and survivor benefits. Here to share important information about your Social Security and ways to get the best payout is Dan Casey of Bridgewater Advisors in Bloomfield Hills. Good morning, Dan. Thanks for joining us.
Morning.
So let's kick things right off here. How can retirees or soon-to-be retirees delay collecting Social Security to ensure a higher payment?
Yeah, so what's nice is once you reach your full retirement age, which is 66 if you're born between 1943 and 1954, if you don't take your benefits at that point, they will increase them by 8% guaranteed. Not too bad, right? So that's one way to do it. So kind of what I'm advising my clients to do a lot of times is, if we have some savings, let's try to get some income from that savings so we can not take our Social Security benefits, let those grow at 8% a year, and it's a it's a pretty amazing income stream in retirement that lasts your entire life.
In your experience, Dan, has the economic fragility, I guess, over the past 2 years, we've got the pandemic, has that changed the way people view Social Security at all? Have your clients shared that with you?
Yes, absolutely. It seems like a lot of times, even though I tell them, hey, let's hold off because it does increase 8%. It's hard to guarantee. I can't guarantee your 8% for you. They want to turn it on earlier because of the pandemic and everything that's happened, and they just want to get that income stream starting early. So unfortunately, I fight that a little bit, but. So yeah, that's kind of the major shift that I've seen anyways.
Sure. Now, if you are married, are there ways to capitalize to obtain a higher payout for couples?
Yes. So again, going back to that, letting your benefits grow as high as possible. That kind of what I tell people is a rule of thumb is whoever the higher wage earner was, let their benefits grow as much as possible. So meaning, again, delaying it past your full retirement age. Because when you think about it, that benefit is going to be for both spouses. So when the higher wage earning spouse dies, if they did wait and have a big check, that becomes the other spouse's check as well, because if theirs is lower, it gets bumped up. So I always try to get the higher wage earner spouse as high as possible. And then the lower wage earning spouse, take their benefits before the higher wage. I hope you're following this, the higher wage earning spouse, because the Social Security office is only going to give them 100% of their benefit or 50% of the spousal, whichever's higher. So if, the higher wage earning spouse turns on their benefits first, the lower wage earning spouse is never going to see their own benefits. They're just going to end up getting 50%. So turn theirs on first, and then it will get bumped up higher when the other one turns theirs on.
And does that sort of allow people to compromise a little bit? You mentioned that you kind of push back when your clients say, oh, I want to dip into my Social Security sooner. You want them to hold back. In a situation where you have a couple, one is allowed, or you would even advise them to be able to take it a little earlier as long as one can hold off?
Yeah, exactly. Because they're going to get 100% of their benefit. They may not get that if the other one turns theirs on first, and then they're going to lose that and just end up getting 50%. So yeah, it's a strategy and it's a play with numbers that we always have to do.
Sure. Does the number of years that you're actively working matter? And if so, how much does that play into your payout?
For sure. So you only have to work at least 10 years just to be able to get benefits, but they're going to look at your highest 35 years. So if you've got a bunch of zeros in there, it definitely can lower your benefits. So, you want to get at least as many work years in as possible to maximize that benefit.
And the last question I have for you, Dan, before we let you go, what should Social Security recipients know about taxes? And I'm sure that's a layered answer, but what are the top 3 things that you think that they should probably keep in mind?
So in my firm, I've been obsessed with keeping Social Security tax-free, because what's interesting is that's the only income stream that's based on provisional income. So we've mastered this formula, and we can show people how to keep it, generally tax-free if we can. So it was designed to be tax-free if it's your only income, but it does shock people that it does become taxable the more layers of income that you have. So we're aware of that, and we can keep that generally tax-free because of that different formula. So you just got to keep your eye on that. Worst case scenario, it's always at least 15% tax-free, but we can usually do better. So you just got to know that formula and work around with your other income streams in retirement.
Really helpful tips. Dan Casey of Bridgewater Advisors in Bloomfield Hills. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.